Good evening. It is September 19th and it is 6 p.m. We are looking at a view of our sun. We have several rapidly developing coronal holes here that are delivering us some coronal hole wind. We have developing filament activity. We have developing CMEs rotating in on Earth's view. And there is just a tremendous amount of stuff to talk about today. Now, sorry this is late. I will apologize. Father Cyprian up at the Greek Orthodox Church has had us doing interviews with 9 and 10 and 7 and 4. It should be on the 6 o'clock news on 9 and 10. 7 and 4 will have it on the 11 o'clock news, and they're going to be talking about the church, how it was built to turn out the lights here, and how we got our organization, Michigan Aurora Hunters, North American Dark Skies, got started, and how we became involved to help start this dark sky park at the church and provide our community with this wonderful dark sky area. And it is a wonderful thing to have this on the news, because if we can get this out there and more people aware of it, and it becomes a very successful program, then we have a chance for other people to gain interest in setting things up like this in other places. And if you are in a community and you have something being built, or you have a church that maybe, or a community center that maybe could turn out the lights like we can here, it can be something that you can refer to this program and say, they do this over here and it's turned out really, really well, and it's a wonderful program. Maybe you should see how they work it and talk to them about it. And it could become something beneficial for not only the Traverse City community, but for dark sky community overall, to be, we're the first one of its kind, but maybe we're not the last one of its kind. Maybe we can be a fire starter and create more things like this. So that is our project that I've been working on today. We have activity coming at us. Let's get to it. I've gone back noon on the 17th. We had a very dense CME. Could be what we got last night or early this morning. Maybe, because we did peak out early this morning at a KP7. So this may have come in already, but this was moving about the same speed as all the other storms, same direction, and it is super, super dense. The storm was moving really fast this morning, but it was not dense, so I hesitate to say that this was the storm they were expecting. So I kind of think this might still be out there somewhere. Okay. We have had a whole line of storms going off on our incoming limb, and I'm going to real quick go through this. We have one going out our outgoing limb on to our right. Here's a big solid blast coming off from that, and this one may graze us if it's in the right area where I'm thinking. This one has the potential of grazing us, because if it comes from if it comes from this sunspot region right here, 34, 35, which is very likely because this has produced a bunch of M-class flares, and one of them is a very large M-class 4. That may be the region that blasted this out. This is, as you can see, partially earth facing, and if it's a wide spread on that particular storm, it has the potential of hitting us. So that, as it spreads out, it kind of looks like it's going to miss us for the most part, but it is a potential it could hit us. Okay, going up, we have more flaring coming from the same region that's been delivering all our good activity. Another solar flare coming down that has the potential of hitting us from 34, 37. Another one hitting from 34, 37. We have some coming out again from that 34, 35 region that depending on its spread and where it's going could possibly tickle us. Another one from coming down in that region that it could hit us from 34, 37. We have another good blast coming out on that outgoing limb. We'll have to look at the Lascaux and see if that is going to hit us. Another blast from 34.7 or 34.37. That one I think will be a miss, and that may be on the backside. Now on the 18th, we have had another 90-degree halo hit. That is coming off the outgoing limb or from, and this may be from the sunspots at 33, 34 or 33, 36. These, depending on which one it kicked off and where exactly that originated, it still does have the potential that it could swing around if it's a wide enough CME that it could hit us and it could deliver a graze. Okay, we're gonna, whoops. Got another blast coming out from the incoming limb. This is a massive, oh wow, look at the spread on that thing. That is just massive. If that, some of that is coming at us, we're gonna definitely get hit. Okay, we've got more on the incoming limb, and we've got something coming down here out of 34, 37. Another blast coming out of that outgoing limb. And because you're seeing a full halo, if you look right here, it's basically a full halo. When we get a forecast or a cactus that looks like that, we are going to get hit. There is enough activity out there that some of that is going to hit us. We had something like 12 different CMEs or more in the last 24 or 38 or 48 hours. Here is one. This is coming off that new sunspot region that just came in. This is really wide, so I do think this has the potential of hitting us or at least grazing us. Another one coming out of the region that's outgoing. Some more coming out of that outgoing region. Another blast from that new sunspot region that's just rotating in. And this, when you see it going this far in, it's very likely we will get hit. This margin is coming close enough as it spreads out to Earth. But you can also see we have enough activity, matter coming all the way around here at some degree. There's still a full halo here. Another good blast here. Like I said, you've got nearly a full halo here. That means we're going to get more activity. And yet another blast. So all told, we have had something like 22 blasts since midnight on the 18th. So we have had 22 CMEs since midnight last night. Looking at our flaring, we have had some major flaring, and I'm going to take this down to 24 hours. We have had a whole slew of C's, and we have had 3 M-class flares, one of which is in the M-class 4, which is a major flare. We do have this really long flare, which is good, because that means there's a good long CME. This one is likely to produce auroral activity. This one right here is another long duration CME. This would produce, this one is a long duration, and the M class sinks down to C class, but this is a long duration and would be capable of giving us elevated CMEs as well. Looking at our sunspot region, we have 34, 40 that is now in earth facing. I don't think that's the only one back there. I think there's still more coming behind it. It has kind of an odd shape. We have another incoming one we're just catching a look of now. And we have 3439 that is rotated in and is kicking off some major activity. 3436 is right here, and this is the one that's kicking off all the activity off from the off-going limb. And if that activity is wide enough, that can still impact us. So let's go down here and look at these sunspots real quick. 3429, that is the one that can still impact it, is kicking out C-class flares. It is a beta class CME or sunspot. 3433 is hanging in there. It's really not doing that much. 3435 is this big sunspot region right here, and it is kind of growing. It's gotten bigger. And this is the monster that is kicking out the M-class flares, and that is rotating into Earth's view. If it continues producing the activity it is, we very likely could see some big storms in the coming week. 3436 is this spot right up here. It does have beta gamma. Okay, this means it's more likely to produce. We have tightly wrapped, irregular shape to these sunspot grouping, and there are magnetic umbras with both polarities in them. So this is very likely to continue to produce things, and this is the one. It is more earth facing. So if this is the one producing the large CMEs on that limb, this is the one that could still hit us. 3437 is kicking out CMEs, and that is definitely within striking distance of us. We have 3438 that is on our incoming region, and that is capable of producing CMEs. 3439 is down here on the bottom limb, and it is starting to shrink in size, but that doesn't mean it's done, okay? Just because it shrinks in size can mean it's just starting to reorganize itself to get bigger and change its shape and become a monster. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. And then we have the new sunspot region. It is growing, and it is a beta class sunspot with sunspot grouping trailing it. And this is capable of producing sunspots or CMEs and flares. So we have a really good forecast here, and we have a new one, 3141. That has just peeked in here, and they don't have that listed yet. So let's do this and jump over to our LASCO feed. Because when in doubt, we have to look at LASCO. Okay, and we're going to look at the cactus view. And you can see, okay, here's a full halo hit. That is got plasma coming all the way around, and that is on the 17th. Another one coming in on the 17th. I think we've got the first one, but that last one I don't know if we've received it yet. Here's the one on the 18th. We've got activity coming. That definitely has the potential of hitting us straight on. More activity coming on the 19th at a lower level. It might not be as dark at some of this as we have been getting, but it is very likely, hang on, to keep producing. Okay, let me see where we're at. Up. So we're going to go through the 16th. Let me get here where we're on the 17th. There's that really big flare late the 17th. We may still have this coming. Here's another big flare on the 18th. This all still could be coming at us. And they've only got it, they don't have it all the way into the 19th. So we have stuff pretty solidly through the late 18th into the early 19th. I do think will be a solid hit. So I do look for elevated conditions to continue. They are predicting, okay, so September 19th, we have had, well, we'll have to see if this actually played out. They're saying from 9 to noon, we had a KP6. Tonight, about 8 o'clock, we're predicted to go to a KP4. We may have a slight dip, and then we're going to go back up into a KP4. And then they're predicting the weather could kind of calm down for a little bit. It might for a day or so, but I do look for that to go back and to continue. Let's go to the space weather page and look what has been happening versus what we're seeing. Okay, we've been solidly at a KP5. We have started dropping an activity in the last hour or couple hours. So we're back down to just under a 4 right now. But I do look for that to go back up as we reach the evening hours. And I do look for auroral activity tonight. Remember, these haven't been completely accurate. A lot of times they're hitting a little over right now than what they're saying. So we were predicted to have KP5s and we were getting KP6s and 7s. So look for this to peak a little high and be prepared for more like KP4, KP5, and err on the high side rather than the low side. Okay, let's go down here. I see we've had some onset here, but we're kind of hanging in here. Density has trailed off. That may pick back up, and wind speeds are still above 500 kilometers, so we could see some spikes throughout tonight that are fairly good, and the wind speed is really good. So I would say we are still at a potential of having some very good CMEs into the overnight hours tonight. Magnometers are fairly decent numbers right now. They're not terribly low, so I would say we're still under a magnetic load as well. We do have some cloudiness, some very light wispy clouds moving in. Some parts of Wisconsin may clear or cloud up a little bit. Some parts of eastern Minnesota and lower Michigan may cloud up. The good news is, looking at our cloud map, the smoke from Canada has dissipated some, and we're back down to less interference with smoke, and we are due to have less humidity tonight by, I think it's supposed to be like down in the 80s somewhere instead of the upper 90s for humidity. So we should have an even better chance at having clear auroras tonight as far as what's there being sharp and clear and interesting and easy to see. So everybody have a good time. I really need some aurora hunters up here to meet at the church about 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight. 7 and 4 will be here, and they'd love to just have some footage of us gathering and getting ready to shoot the auroras. And she would, just like to get to know some of our aurora hunters and talk to us. And if you are one of our newbies from this last couple of days, definitely come up and join us. She may want to get some of your responses to what it was like to see the auroras for the first time. I think that's really important to the story of this dark sky park. So please come back and join us tonight, and let's have a good time.